Good morning. I'm here at COP. It's my last day, and I am going to share my day with you in small snippets. And I've got a few things to do today. The first thing I do is go to the Cryosphere Pavilion to catch up with one of my homes here. The Cryosphere Pavilion is working hard to promote polar oceans science. After that, I will pop along to the Ocean Pavilion, my second home here at COP, where I go and catch up with the Ocean Pavilion community and see what's going on there for the day. We've got a high-level event which I'll pop along to later on this morning, and then a few other activities before my own presentation that will be taking place in one of the side event rooms later on this afternoon. Yeah, so join me on my last day here at COP. Walking around, we quite often hear people chanting. There's demonstrations that go on. They're called actions here rather than demonstrations. But we also see a lot of slogans in the background. Today is Water Day and Indigenous Peoples Day. But as we walk past this building, you can see it says decisions today are tomorrow's legacy. And I really just hope that's not talk and that actually this COP leads to concrete action, because we're at the stage now where we need to have that happen and not just continue talking. So just walking down this street, as you can see kind of behind me, there's little exhibit pavilions. PML in week 1 had an exhibit here, and that allows people to kind of just walk past, have a chat with whoever's in the stand and find out what's going on and what people are up to. I just headed up to the Cryosphere side event room. This is where we meet every morning, and today is the High Mountains Day in the Cryosphere Pavilion, so I suspect there may be some high mountains, glaciers, people getting ready for their talks. So I'm just going into a side event which is being run by the International Cryosphere Climate Initiative.
But unfortunately, the more carbon they absorb, the more acidic their water gets. And today we're seeing in the polar oceans the highest rates of acidification on Earth. And this impacts the entire marine food chain.
World leaders, if we lose the light of Antarctica, we lose the world. I have a vision. I see a world where we are successful in halting temperature increase at 1.5 degrees and living in harmony with nature. Here in this world, women and indigenous people take their rightful seat at the table to take action, and youth are taken seriously. In this vision, I see equitable and sustainable cities thriving. In this world, there is social equality and social justice, cooperation and abundance. There is peace. I see healthy ecosystem and forests, providing food, clean water, and supporting livelihood and economies for communities in Cameroon, in Africa, and in the entire world. But this dream is at risk. Climate change requires urgent systemic solutions and transitions. Climate impact are not just about the environment, but also about billions of displaced people, gender inequalities, social injustice, and human conflict impacting all nations worldwide. Women, underrepresented groups, and children, small island states, and the global south are the most at risk. World leaders, please, this is the most challenging time in human history, and it is one in which we must succeed together in safeguarding the planet. Join me in this vision, share it with your people, and makes it a reality.
So that was quite an impressive side event. I think the Cryosphere team have done a fantastic job there of representing the science and bringing it to the fore to be able to allow people to understand what's going on and why it's so critically important that we act now on cutting fossil fuels. And yeah, I will shortly be going off to my own side event, so more on that later. So just about to go into my side event. This is a Pogo and Woods Hole event, and I'll be speaking about the importance of keeping monitoring going, oceanification monitoring in particular, the Global Oceanification Observing Network, and why we need to keep supporting that for long-term analysis of data that allows us to come to these sorts of negotiations with that scientific background and knowledge and really support the science going forward. If we didn't have those long-term monitoring stations, we just wouldn't know what was going on, we wouldn't know how to mitigate against it or adapt. I think that went pretty well. Good discussion about how we can make observations, a little bit of discussion about whether we're making the right data to be able to monitor change, and look at how we're perturbing the system, how we make change, especially with a lot of conversations here going on about marine carbon dioxide removal and whether we can detect those changes if we start to move things around. So I'm going to run now to my next appointment, which is actually a discussion with some press. A display of the IPCC's figure that they have, which shows the climate injustice across generations, and they wanted scientists to speak to that in terms of what it means, the difference between sticking to 1.5 or 2 degrees. So my role is really about the polar oceans and how the oceans are part of it, every system, but the ocean health will be hugely diminished if we don't stick to that 1.5 target. And in complete contrast to the Cryosphere work, I'm now on my way to the Ocean Pavilion again, where there's an event going on about climate solutions. So these are about using the ocean to provide solutions for mitigating against climate change. And there's a lot of uncertainty around those. And the reason I'm interested in going is because I think it's important for the scientists to be present to make sure that people are aware that there's still huge unknowns in terms of the ocean's ability to take up carbon and help us to mitigate climate. And we need to be doing this investigation into these solutions in a very responsible way, a just way, and provide the background scientific information that will allow us to show that whether or not they work, if they do work, do they do it in a safe way, where are we able to carry out these things in a safe way, and how can we scale them up. So it's now dark outside after being in the Ocean Pavilion for a couple of hours. The Ocean Pavilion ended after the talk with a networking event, with some pizza and some drinks, and now I'm just going to go and see if I can find any of the Cryosphere gang before heading back to the hotel for the end of the day. Final thoughts on COP as I end my day here and end my 3 days of being in this crazy place. I am filled with hope and optimism still, despite the challenges I think that the negotiations have had to face. The wording that seems to be getting in there is maybe not as strong as we would like. We'll see. We've still got some days left for that to happen. The oceans are still featuring there somewhere. There's been a lot of positive talk about cryospheres and sticking to 1.5, which is where we need to be going, but we'll see. Got a few days left before a conclusion can be really drawn on COP, but from perspective of being here in terms of the science evidence, I think we've done an amazing job at being able to deliver that and get the message across. There's been some fantastic opportunities to talk to people, both other scientists, other stakeholders, negotiators, ministers, and yeah, it's an eye-opener experience to be able to be involved in this kind of process, from everything from talking to friends and colleagues that I've known for years through to meeting random people in the street from all sorts of different nations and all sorts of different backgrounds, so a worthwhile experience.